think that music is a language it's beyond language in some ways, and it moves everyone. I think from the beginning of time, we've been banging sticks together and stomping our feet. It is powerful because it moves us, because it gets inside us, makes us feel things, makes us move our feet.
Yeah, we're called This Means Nothing in Mexico.
And we pretty much play whatever we could write.
So I'm Jonathan. I'm from Burnaby and I'm 17.
And my name's Nathan and I'm 17 and I'm from Vancouver, BC. I play the guitar, I sing, and I'll sometimes play the keyboards.
I play bass and I do a little bit of backing vocals.
Basically, we have a drummer who's not here right now. His name's Joseph, and he's in the Philippines.
When I started writing songs, people were giving me lots of good feedback, so I just was like, oh, okay, well, I'll just keep doing that. And yeah, so it's always been in my life. I could never imagine not having music in my life. My name is Jenny Brookelman, but I go by the stage name Jenny Brooklyn. I guess I'm like a singer-songwriter. I'm 37 and going on 23 sometimes.
So I'm Ginga and I'm 44 and I'm a DJ slash music maker. We're getting into production and that's what I do.
Mostly what I'm doing now for income is playing in venues like restaurants, concerts, corporate events, markets. My name is Brad Prevadoris. I play nylon string guitar, classical guitar. I play instrumental music, and I'm 57 years old. When I was in my 20s, the icons and the musicians that I admired, well, Van Morrison was one of them, the Beatles. I got involved with jazz at a really early time, so I listened to like John Coltrane and groups like Paul Winter Consort and Oregon. Bob Dylan, of course, is probably the most influential in some respects. FM underground artists were probably my major influences. People that probably you would, like John Mayall and John Mark, Johnny Allman.
We would mostly listen to anyways, like Weezer and Arctic Monkeys. Oh, I kind of listen to this super obscure stuff.
My influences were mainly like blues and classic rock, and then also some of the other singer-songwriters of the past, like Bonnie Raitt is one of my favorites, and as well as Stevie Wonder. He's like super cheesy, but I love him. And then to like Fleetwood Mac and Sly and the Family Stone.
I really think that Dale Charles in the early part of the rave scene, DB, Joski, even early David Morales and Junior Vasquez.
You know, when Sgt. Pepper's was released in 67 or 64, whatever, I mean, it just like blew everybody's mind, right? I mean, I don't see an artist doing that these days, Lady Gaga, I mean, and you look at her and you think, well, what is she really saying compared to what, John Lennon was saying in A Day in a Life, right? It's so I don't know if it really affects people like it used to. It's a different thing now. It's almost like it's more of a product.
The generations, their taste change, but then at the same time I see kids that are really into AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, and then I was into them and my parents were into them.
When I was in the industry in the early 90s, it was very locked, right? Like if you wanted radio play, you have to pay, right? People don't get that. Like Billboard 100, people pay to be there. It's not like you just happen to become #1. But then came the internet and YouTube and stuff like that, and people like Beardy Man appear, and I think it's amazing because that means that the corporations can't control the distribution anymore. You'll get these tracks that you don't know who made it, where it's from. There's probably only 10 or 20 in the world. But I can put that as a file on the net, and all of a sudden, millions of people have that record, man. You know what I mean? And so that's the beauty of the net.
A lot of indie bands are finding their way online, completely in control of all their assets and what they're doing with their music, and they've got their websites and they can shop their music online, they can get a distributor. There's lots of information out there that wasn't there before.
changing market has really made it so that I have to actually perform more. I have to go out and do gigs so that people see me play and then they buy my CDs. Whereas, like I say, 10 or 15 years ago, I just had my CDs playing in the gift shops.
Music was meant to be performed live. That's how it was made up.
There's just wide open doors right now where it can go in any direction.
Music is it's not even a thing anymore. It just has to be there.
Yeah, for me, it's like the easiest form of art you can connect to. It's like sort of, you know, poetry. People just be like, oh, that's just words. But music, you know, it's really, there's no tricks or anything. You hear a phrase in a song and it sticks in your head because it really applies to you. Yeah.
I think music will always just grab people, whether, you know, whether they can help it or not. If something grabs you, it grabs you.
Like, I really like music without lyrics, and if it does have lyrics, they gotta be deep, they gotta be soulful, they gotta be truthful, they gotta be enlightening, they gotta mean something.
Sort of my goal is to create music that makes people, you know, happy and calm and forget about their worries.
Well, I think we have to remember to keep focusing in on ourselves and what really moves us and what we really want to do.
There's that moment where you play something and you know that what you just played was good, and then that kind of spark when you all like look at each other and like, yeah, we were on to something right now. And I think that is the best part about playing music, not in front of people, but when you get that moment.
It's just, I couldn't imagine my life without it.